Today's video is about something I have never seen anyone else address before, but that is incredibly important because it can truly make or break the vision you have for your children's book. It can either get you where you want to be with your book or take all the steam out of your engine, causing you to give up on writing and publishing your own children's book. And that's something I'm talking about is feedback, whether that's feedback we receive on our script during the writing process or feedback we receive as reviews once our book has been published. So in this video, we are going to look at when to ask others for feedback on our story, what to do with the feedback, how to handle it, and how to evaluate it. So let's jump right in. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my weekly videos. Let's look at the feedback we may receive on our script first, meaning during the writing process before it has been published. Getting feedback and hearing criticism can be so hard, especially on something we have been working on so hard and something we have poured our hearts into. Give a script to 10 different editors or 10 different people and you'll receive 10 completely different opinions. And if we were to listen to all of them trying to write our story in such a way that every single one of these people gives their thumbs up, we would never finish our story. And so the two main things to remember are these right here. One, our story will never ever be 100% what other people want it to be. And two, our story can't please everyone. It simply won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. So knowing this, what should we do? Whom should we listen to? How much should we listen? And perhaps more importantly, when should we listen? When it comes to inviting feedback into our lives, something I would like you to know and internalize is this. Before asking for advice or feedback from anyone, before giving our story to anyone to read, we will want to be absolutely sure and solid on a number of things that I call my non-negotiables, that no matter what, I'm certain about and won't budge on. So to figure out our non-negotiables, we will want to ask ourselves these three questions right here. Number one, when it comes to your story, what are the elements or parts of your story you are not willing to change, no matter what? This could be things like certain characters, certain names, a specific setting in your story, things that are part of your story and that have to remain part of your story. Otherwise, you couldn't imagine your story. A great example here would be Dave Pilkey's Dogman, where Dogman had to have the head of a dog and the body of a human. Dave just couldn't imagine anything else for this, no matter what others would have said. That was one of his non-negotiables. Number two, what is the one main takeaway you want little readers to get out of reading your story? Is it to know about kindness, or is it to learn about keeping the earth safe, about holidays? Whatever it is, what is the one thing you would like little ones to walk away with after reading your book? And number three, what or how do you want your readers to feel as they are reading your story? Do you want them to laugh out loud because of all the silliness, or do you want them to feel empathy or compassion? Do you want them to feel empowered or excited and inspired? Now you may be asking, Eevi, why is it so important to be clear on these non-negotiables before seeking feedback? What's the point? Well, being clear on these non-negotiables is really important because they provide us with some sort of framework for ourselves to stay within. They are our guiding star, because if I didn't have these anchor points and then let myself be bombarded with other people's opinion, it would be extremely easy to get crushed or get off course when listening to all this outside feedback. If we were still shaky and uncertain about our book's purpose and what it is we want to achieve with it, then it is really easy to let others' opinions push us off the path we initially set out on, where we could potentially lose ourselves, our own style, and perhaps even the vision or purpose we had for our book when we first started writing our story. Because something that often happens when we are not certain or clear on these things is that once we receive outside feedback, we are so eager to please everyone else that instead of sticking to our own story, we end up creating someone else's. And that's why we will want to be absolutely sure on these non-negotiables even before we give anyone our story to read. Taking Dave Pilkey as an example again, how easy would it have been for others to tell him how crazy it was to have a character with a dog's head and a man's body, right? How silly. But that was one of Dave's non-negotiables. That was to be his main character for this particular series, no matter what others may have suggested he should change about this. So if we have set these non-negotiables for ourselves as our guiding star, why then, you may ask, should we ask for feedback in the first place? Here it's always really helpful to look at what feedback can and should be and what it shouldn't be. Good feedback is feedback that gets us excited about our story. This kind of feedback or critique helps us improve our story to get it to be the best version it could possibly be. Now, here's really important to understand that good feedback doesn't necessarily mean that our story is perfect and that there aren't things that could be changed, improved, and altered. Good feedback or critique simply means that it is constructive. Because our first draft is rarely the final draft, nor should it be, right? Because the first draft is rarely the best possible draft our book can be. Most books that touch their readers went through multiple drafts or iterations. That's absolutely normal. And so good feedback takes what is, values the vision of the author, and tries to support and improve this vision and not rewrite the story to make it fit someone else's vision or someone else's narrative. Bad feedback is any feedback that is not constructive. Bad feedback makes us doubt our story altogether. It can make us feel really bad and defeated. It may even make us doubt whether or not we should be writing our children's book to begin with. And it's this bad feedback why I created this video to begin with, because sadly, it's bad feedback that has crushed so many aspiring authors' dreams of writing their book. Once we receive invited feedback, the next really important step we will want to take is to actually evaluate it. So we don't just want to take feedback by its face value, but instead we will want to first determine whether it's good or bad feedback. And to do so, we can ask ourselves these 4 questions right here. 1. Does this feedback help improve or enhance my story? Or is it simply a matter of another person's preferences? 2. Is this feedback and the made suggestions valid? That is there some truth to it? For example, if we receive feedback that our ending felt rushed, rereading our story with this new insight in mind, would we agree? And could we perhaps add more details that would be valuable to the story to make it feel less rushed? 3. Would following these suggestions support and strengthen or go against our predetermined non-negotiables? For example, are these suggestions helping us accomplish our book's main goal we previously set, or do they move us into a completely different direction? And 4, do we feel the person who provided this feedback understood our vision and our book's intended purpose? For example, if the person that provided the feedback holds fundamentally different views on whether or not it's important for kids to learn about certain subjects, then this person might not be the right one to ask for feedback on a book that is about that particular subject. If the feedback we receive does anything other than those 4 things, then it's not constructive or useful feedback. And if you find that the feedback you have received will help you make your story better, then absolutely go ahead and implement some of the made suggestions you feel would help elevate your story. Sometimes we may need a day or 2 to determine how we feel about this feedback, and that's absolutely normal and absolutely okay. Now, the second type of feedback I like to look at is the feedback in the form of reviews, whether that's reviews over on Amazon or reviews provided via a review service or any other reviews shared on social media, for example. Please know that negative reviews will happen eventually. But assuming that we've gone through the story writing practices I've shared either in my how-to book or any of my courses or masterclasses, we know that the version of our story we have published and shared with the world is the best it could possibly be, right? It went through multiple iterations and may even incorporate a number of suggestions that were made on our initial drafts. So here we will want to remember that any review we are receiving is simply a matter of personal taste and personal preferences. I know it's easier said than done, but try not to take any type of feedback personal, especially if a review is negative. Don't ever let others' opinions bring you down. Instead, assess whether or not any of the made points are valid, learn from those that are helpful, and ignore the rest. Within the author community, we often joke that unless our book has at least one negative review, reviews can't be trusted and we can't really call ourselves an author, because having only positive reviews often simply implies that the readership of our book hasn't gone beyond that of our own circle of friends. Whether it's feedback provided during our writing process or as a review on our already published story, there will always be someone who doesn't believe in our story or doesn't like our story. But don't let this bring you down. Others' opinions can be hard on us at times, and that's okay. One of my most obscure books that also had others question what I was doing is still one of my best books. The topic of that book is quite quirky and not at all for everyone, because I mainly wrote it for my then 4-year-old son. Turns out many other 4-year-olds love it, and those early naysayers would have never guessed. And I am so glad I didn't let their feedback stop me and my vision. We all know about J.K. Rowling's story of constant rejection because her story didn't fit the narrative of those who provided feedback on it. Even Dave Pilkey, the author of Captain Underpants and Dogman, had a hard time convincing others that his stories were worth reading because they thought his books were just too silly. And look at them now. No book, no matter how famous, is meant for everyone. And if we were to strip any Dogman book from its fame and all its illustrations and only looked at its script, I'm certain most editors would still shake their heads. But how lucky are Pilkey's and Rowling's readers that they didn't let the opinion of others bring them down. In the end, it is up to us authors to take that risk and give it a try anyways, no matter what others may say. So whenever you're receiving any type of feedback on your story, remember this. 1, our story can't please everyone. It won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. 2, we need to know what we want our book to be in order to be able to use other people's feedback constructively. Otherwise, others' opinions can very easily crush our vision and our dream of writing a children's book. And 3, the first draft is rarely the best possible draft our book can be. Going through multiple iterations is absolutely normal. So don't get discouraged. As long as you're moving in the right direction of your vision for your story, you're doing great. I hope you found this video really helpful. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. It really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. And if you stopped writing because of someone's feedback, try again. I believe in you. Bye!